President Trump welcomes Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy to the White House after Trump's 2.5-hour call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The leaders floating a weapons deal and riding momentum from the Gaza ceasefire to get peace for Ukraine. We now go live to NTD's Washington correspondent Mari Otsu at the White House. Hi, Mari. Good to see you. What's the latest from Zelenskyy's visit?
Melina, good evening. Good to see you too. President Trump, after the meeting with Zelenskyy today, is calling for the war to end now along its current lines, so he says both sides can claim victory. And this is coming after President Trump and President Zelenskyy say that this White House meeting today is different from all of the previous ones because it comes on the heels of that Gaza ceasefire deal. Take a look.
I think you can carry the momentum from the Middle East deal over to this deal? And
I do.
So, how does that move the needle?
Yeah, I do. I think we carry a lot of momentum, a lot of credibility. Getting Middle East done was very important.
Congratulations with your successful ceasefire in the Middle East. And I think this is the momentum to finish Russia's war against Ukraine.
President Zelenskyy proposes that Ukraine would provide the U.S. with its advanced drones in exchange for the U.S.'s long-range Tomahawk missiles. In recent days, President Trump has said he's open to selling Ukraine the Tomahawks, but after Thursday's call with President Putin, he softens his posture.
Would much rather have them not need Tomahawks. Would much rather have the war be over.
President Trump says he's expecting to meet Putin in Budapest, Hungary, and that the meeting format is to be determined, but...
It'll be a double meeting, but we will have the President, Zelenskyy, in touch. There's a lot of bad blood with the two presidents.
And as Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says he thinks trade tensions have de-escalated with China, President Trump still floats imposing higher tariffs on China after Beijing expanded its export controls on rare earths last week.
As of November 1st, I could move it up if I wanted. A 100% tariff over and above what we get now. So that would make it about 157%. And China doesn't want that, and they want to talk.
And President Trump says that he's still expected to meet with Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping in South Korea in 2 weeks. Melina?
Certainly a lot of developments coming out of that meeting, Mari. Thanks for keeping us up to date on that. On another topic, President Trump recently announced he's commuting former Representative George Santos' sentence. What can you tell us about that?
Sure, Melina. Just over an hour ago, President Trump announced that he's ordering the immediate release of George Santos from federal prison. Santos, the New York Republican, was serving 7 years, more than guilty to fraud and identity theft. This commutation means that Santos is being freed from custody, but his record and guilty plea still stand, so it's not a pardon. And in his announcement, President Trump calls Santos a rogue, but he says that there are many rogues who aren't forced to serve 7 years in prison. Melina, back to you.
All right, thanks for the update, Mari, from the White House. Congressional Democrats